Hi, this is Monica and Geoffroy on Cloud9, and we're going to share a little bit about the code we created together. We actually worked using pair programming yesterday, but we had some Google Hangouts and machine, issues, so we didn't end up with a URL we could actually use. So we decided to record something where we would discuss what we did.
Yeah, that's
right. So we're going to start with the part 1 assignments, and the first methods we needed to work on was the sum method. Monica, do you want to jump in?
This first part is very simple. This is just some integers from an array. So we define a method that called some numbers. We set a total in 0 in order to have this if the array was empty. So we use the each iterator for add each element in the array in our total and then return that. We write some examples. If you want, we can run it in order to have the the output.
That's a good idea. Yeah, and that's it. So yeah, that's what we did.
The first example was for get the sum, the total of the method, and the second one was to see if that works, to have the total set to 0, and when the array is empty, we have 0 in the output.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was fairly straightforward. So now let's take a look at the second one, and I believe that was the max to sum.
That was the max. This one was when your machine crashed.
Yes.
We have 2 different methods. We make that each one by itself.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Now I remember. Yeah. So two different approaches. I think at the core the tests show what we were trying to do based on the requirements. So what happens when we have an empty array? What happens when we have an array with just one value, and then we have a general case where there's just a number of values in the array. One thing we didn't test though, because it's integers, but they don't say only positive integers. So I guess we could have added another test with some negative integers in the mix. Obviously, it shouldn't change anything. It should still work, but it's interesting to see, sometimes how we think and kind of limit ourselves.
Yeah.
I'll just say a few words on the first approach, and then maybe you can say a few words on the second one.
Yeah.
But here it was a very direct implementation of the requirements, where looking at the size of the array, and then if it's 0, then total is 0, and then if it's 1, then it's obviously just that one number. And if there are at least two numbers, then the array is sorted, and once it's sorted, then the two last numbers in the array are the largest ones, the biggest ones. So they're just being added up, and that's the total, and the total is returned. So that's one approach. Monica, maybe you could talk about the second one.
Yes, of course. It's maybe the same, but of course it's the same, but a little different way. I I first sort the array
Mm-hmm.
and set a total to 0. Um, Here I use the if statement. If the length of the array is equal or greater than 2, then the total will take the value of the sum of the two last
Mm-hmm.
elements
Mm-hmm.
of the array uh, that I sorted are the greater than. So the other statement, else if the length is equal to 1, if the array had only one element, then the total take the value of this element. And in other case, return the total that should be 0 that is stated.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. It's more compact, and especially using the Ruby syntax for arrays, makes it makes it a lot shorter. So as long as you know what it means, then you're good.
Yeah. We can run it, but we have to put a difference here. Maybe I put a 2 here and save it, and then when I run the test your method and have your output, that here is 0, 3, 3, and the sum of this is
Mm-hmm.
67, and do the opposite to test mine,
Mm-hmm.
save it, run, and it's the same. We have the same result.
Yeah. Wow. Nice.
It's a fast way to test the two methods.
Yeah. Fantastic. So that's the second exercise in part one, and then let's take a look at the third method. And as Abdu said, maybe that was the most challenging one.
Yeah.
So here, what we're trying to do is, given an array of numbers and given a specific target number, how do we, or we're trying to figure out if we can add up any two numbers of the array in the array and find that target number. Yeah, so I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yes, that.
And then there are, of course, special conditions where if we have an empty array or a single element array, then that will return false, since you need at least two values to start, doing the math that they're asking for. Now, do you want to, maybe talk a little bit about the code there?
Oh, okay. Let's see if I remember all of them. Yes, that was challenging in the part 2 of the homework series.
Mm-hmm.
We start with this special uh, instruction that an empty or a single element in the array should return false. So we have the return false if the length of the array numbers is
Mm-hmm.
equal or greater or less than 1.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Then we set an answer, a success to false, and start to check the method that we needed to know that is two elements of the array added is equal to n.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We set an array with the numbers of the array in the input,
Mm-hmm.
and then collect the results of the sums of each two elements in result. Then we check if this new array with the results includes the element that we uh, give, the n,
Mm-hmm.
and if that is true, then success take the value true, or else, in other case, then check again, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So, do you see how we're calling ourselves
Yeah.
with the smaller array, and of course the same target number that we're looking for. And each time you loop through the whole thing and go through this again, the array that's being passed is going to be one value shorter. And, and then it's going to get shorter and shorter until you reach here, which means that you've done all the math on all the numbers down to an array that's now just one value, and you've never been able to match that target value you're looking for, which means that you're going to return false, and this is going to return false, and then so you're going to return false, and then it's going to keep, what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to on stack, all the recursive calls, and then at the end you're going to return false. So unless of course, at some point in all those calls you had a success, so this is true, and then you return true, and you're done. So yeah, I think what would be really interesting would be to have a debugger, so you could step through the code, and you could see the recursive calls, and how you go through all those calls, and then how it just unwinds itself. But anyway, so that's what we had, and then we had a whole bunch of different tests to show how the method worked. Yeah, good. So we can maybe run it. And
yes, we have the output. For example, the first one, we have only one element in the array, so that is we have any to add, so that's false.
Right.
The second one, we can see that 3 added to 2, we have 5. We have the output 2. In the third one, we have 1 in the end number, and we have any combination. We can have 1 as a result, so it's false. In the next one, that was the misunderstanding by myself. Remember that I say that 10 plus 16 plus 9 are 35, but the instruction says that should be the adding 2 numbers.
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember.
So the output should be false. Here is false. The next one we have 27 plus 2 equal to 29, so it's true. The next one we have 12 plus 8 is equal to 20. That we have the output true, and the single add of 6 to 2 equal to 8, so it's true.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, we didn't test the empty array, but you know, it should work, right? I mean, that would be an easy test. I guess if we were doing unit testing, then it would probably make sense to have, you know, that condition as well: empty array, 1 value, 2 values, and then, you know, beyond 2, you know, have a combination of different options or different possibilities. Well, yeah, I think that's good enough.
Yeah, I think it's enough. Yeah.
So that concludes part 1. So let's stop the broadcast, and then I'll start another one right away. So we can do part 2. Okay.
So,
yes.
So bye, and see you in 1 minute.
Okay. Very good. Bye bye.